we will definitely come back and review this car a little more in depthly at some point. Okay guys, welcome back. We're here with the Chrysler again, and word on the street, aka word from the inside, is that this car is actually not running, but it will crank over. Now they say it's because of an ignition thingy or an ignition issue with the distributor. It says something with the points, and that's probably why he came here. They're like, oh, it's not starting, so we're just going to give it to junkyard. So we're inspecting the carburetor, and already we can see there's some things that need to be worked on, which this looks like it's possibly to an evap system. And there's some hoses that are not connected vacuum wise. That was just on this, so that's there. We need to look at some cooling. This overflow tank, you need to look at that. It has coolant in it, so that's good. Green coolant actually is not old and nasty, but we're trying to make sure we also track our steps, so that way we don't, you know, I mean, it's already not starting, so it's probably not gonna, but we just want to make sure you put everything back where it is. So I removed this looks pretty clean. Now if there's spark coming from here, coming out of this, then that means it's getting in there, and the distributor is the culprit. So, and we could easily test that in a more safer way with a multimeter, but you know, you could just ground this right there. I think you just ground this right there. But so carb work, does it need carb work? Well, we'll have to find that out. But right now we're going to just remove this right here, remove this distributor cap like that. Okay, so there's the points. There's the points down in there. Looks like you could just simply just move those towards a certain degree and it might kick off. Who knows? Once again, it all really depends. Really, carb cars are really not all that difficult. Like, if you just know how to do it the right way, so to speak. I guess there's only one way that could go on. I don't know. We'll just have to find out. Okay. It looks like there's only one way it can really go on, honestly, so I don't know. Okay, I think that's good. I'm just gonna put that, close that up. So we took the distributor cap off, and a couple of wonderful guys who know a lot about these old vehicles also pointed out that if it's not, before we test the distributor, we need to test the coil, which means we need to make sure there's a spark coming from here, where you could just take this wire, ground it out there, and if it's sparked towards the metal, then that means its distributor is the fault. Now I look down here, and if you can see right in there, sorry, I'm kind of at a funky angle, but if you look right in there, I noticed there's no fuel in the fuel filter. Right there, there's like no fuel. At least it doesn't look like, because I think fuel would be green. It would be a greenish color. But as you can see, it's empty. Looks like it's empty. So that means, and also from this shot right here, you guys can see there's no fuel in there. I mean, look at that, it looks crystal clear. If there's no fuel getting in there, pumping up to here, there's no fuel for it to start up. Now, but you can still test this without having to worry about that. Just see there's spark coming out. If the spark's coming out and it's not running, that means it's the fuel delivery. Maybe not the carburetor per se, but the fuel delivery. So we have to investigate that. So it looks like we are going to have to do some engine work, but not anything serious. Just simple little touch-up stuff. I mean, you got these hoses and other stuff. So we'll just have to see. We're going to investigate these points here. We're going to learn a lot about points throughout this journey and regular distributors. There's the car getting taken to the graveyard. Yep, business of the junkyard, which is what we do not want happening here. So once again, we're gonna look into this. It very likely just needs points. I mean, if this is getting sparked, it's just gonna need points. And apparently one dude told me that's a common problem with these Chryslers back in the day. So we're gonna look into that. We're gonna see why the fuel, come on. Sorry, I don't know if y'all can see anything, oh well. But we're gonna see why that fuel is not getting in there, in that little, probably really dim. I don't know, maybe y'all can see, maybe y'all can't see, but we're gonna figure all this out. We're gonna figure all of this out. And when we get it running, then we will dive into rust. Sorry. Then after all that, we will dive into the cosmetics of rust. Yeah, this thing is gonna need some. Of course, there's a little spider guy right there. Let me see, what could I use? This random wire here. No, that's gonna be a terrible idea. Let's just use this trim piece. All right, spider, it's time for you to go. It's time for you to get out of here. There you go. Now you can go scrambling those rocks. Okay, so yeah, it's gonna be, yikes, hit my knee. But it's gonna be quite obvious that this car is gonna need some floor work at some point, which, no big deal. Take some floorboards, weld it up. You got yourself a nice little rider. Let me see. Gonna have to cut right here. This is definitely trash. Yeah, like I said, this thing's gonna need some work. Gonna need quite some work. These other underside let's look underneath it real quick. I mean, once again, it is gonna need work. The floorboards, back floor pan could use some replacing. You got that right there. Got some of the other rust right there. But overall, I mean, like I said, it's not the end of the world. You look under here, look at this. This part doesn't look all too shabby. It just looks like typical wear and tear, rust, wear and tear. And you got this right here. This could use a little sanding. Sandblast this to replace those floor pans. You can see that. Yep, you can see that's where the floor is. See me waving my hand, hello, hola. But yeah, you know, it's really not that bad. I think I've seen worse. Oh, is that what the? I hope that's not. This thing's leaking some oil, probably transmission fluid. Yeah, that floor pan's gonna need replacing. Oh well. Looks like I may conclude it today. This looks like it's just been painted on. We'll find out. Yeah, looks like we're gonna have to do some engine work first, then get to the other stuff later. All the other stuff later. Which, once again, I feel like if we really take this on the right way, this car will be in an area where we never thought we'd see it at some point. Just gotta do the deed and get it done.